All right. So this is the first screen that you're going to come up with right now. This is the My Application. So usually what you're going to do is you're going to go to my Cal State Apply, and then what you're going to do there is you're going to sign in with and create your account. So after you do that, it's going to take you to this page called the Extended Profile. And basically in the Senate profile, it's just wants to give you more information about things that we wanted to get to know about you, and also talk about what kind of degree goal that you're going for. So the first question is going to ask, what degree, credential, or certificate are you applying for? You're going to bubble that you're going to check is the first bachelor's degree, seeking your first bachelor's degree and have not earned any prior bachelor's degree. Then it's going to ask you a second question. So two of the questions that could apply to you would be transferring with the associate's degree to transfer, or you'll click the bubble. If you're not doing associate's degree to transfer, you'll utilize the transferring to community college or for your institution. So when you click on the first one, which is transferring with associate's degree to transfer, it's going to want to ask you what community college that you transfer from in the state of California, and also the ADT program that you're graduating with. And then do you have or will you receive a second ADT for the program? You could check yes or no. However, if you do click on the second function, which is transferring from a community college for four-year institution, it's going to ask you how many units are you transferring over with, 0 to 59 credits or 60 semester credits. Everyone's going to put 60 plus semester credits because it is a requirement that you have 60 transferable units in order to transfer over. And then we're going to go down to the next slide. The next question is going to say, are you a returning student? So you either check yes or no. Majority of students are going to check no, but there are some cases that you do have students that are returning students that will check yes. But for now, we're just going to click on no. And then the third question is going to ask, what is your military status? So you could put if you serve, I'm currently serving active duty, National Guard, reserves, or if you've been discharged from the military or you have not served, you'll click on that. And then the last question is going to ask if you're an international applicant. Do you have or will you have a F1 visa student or visa exchange? You click on no if that doesn't apply to you. And if it does apply to you, you'll click on yes. And then what state do you regard as your permanent home? You'll put California. And then once you do all that, it's going to take you to the added program section. So this is a section where you could find what school you want to apply to. You could simply just go into the search engine, just type in San Bernardino. And then once you do that, it's going to simply just take you to our Cal State or our Cal State San Bernardino page. And then it's also going to talk about what majors you want to go for. In this case, the student wants to go into accounting. So the student's going to pick the accounting major. At the bottom, all the way at the left, you're going to see the plus sign. You'll click on the plus sign and it'll make a check mark like that. And it'll ask you, are you sure you want to do this program? You'll simply check yes. And what you're going to do after that is going to take you to the next page, and it'll go to what is your My Application section. So the first order of business that you're going to do is broken up into 4 quadrants. The first quadrant is going to be your personal information. So once you click on the first section, it's going to say release statement. You're just going to read through all the statements that it has. It's being authorized that the CSU could use your information for data purposes and different things, certificates, and then release statements for contact information, and then also additional releases as well. And then the second part of this section, you're going to go to is biographical information. So we really want to know just who you are as a person. So you're going to put your first name, last name. If you do want to put your middle name or suffix, you could include that. If you have an alternate name, you could, or nickname, you could enter that into an alternate. You can also put your preferred name there. You'll click yes or no. And then right here is where you'll put your legal sex, what you classify as, and then what do you consider yourself to be? How would you describe yourself? And then what would you describe yourself as for the way you want to be portrayed as? And then we also do have our birth information, which is where you'll put your information when you were born, city, country, and also state and province, and then additional information that will be answered throughout the section. And if any of those questions apply to you, you'll check yes. If they don't, you'll simply check no. And then the next section we're going to cover is the contact information. So this is where you're going to put your current information, your current address, where you stay, and then also it's going to ask you if this is your permanent address. And if it is, you'll just continue down. But if it's not, then you have to put what is your permanent address. And then phone number, email, make sure it's the email that you check on the regular, because most likely that's the email that we're going to be sending you the information on how to access your My County portal. So citizenship and residency, this is a section where students are going to basically describe if you are U.S. citizenship, you have U.S. citizenship or you don't. If you do, you'll click yes, but if you do not, then you'll click the one that applies to you below, whether if it's a permanent resident with a green card, you're not a permanent resident, you're a refugee, or you have another visa. And then, for example, in the case that you don't, you'll just have to put the country of your citizenship. So for example, we'll go to Argentina, and then if you were born outside of the United States, when did you move here? The student puts 1993 for the year, or whenever you moved here. And then residency, do you claim California as residency? You'll click yes. And then have you lived in California continuously since birth? You'll click no, and then you'll just put a date that around the date that you moved to California. So the dates might not be super accurate, but you just want to put that into the section. And then once you complete that section, you'll just click on save and continue, and it'll take you to the next section, which will be race and ethnicity. So this is an area where we want to get to know what ethnicity and race that you classify as. You can put yes, no, or decline to state for any of these questions. You can check a box on which area does apply to you. And it breaks it down. If you are Asian, it breaks it down to the exact region where you want to, what you classify yourself as. So Nick is Asian American, and he's considered Korean. If you are biracial, you can always put multiple races for that. So for example, if you are Southwest Asian or North African, you could put that in that section as well. And then they just want to know at the end of at the bottom, like which one would you classify with? So it will be Asian. And then once you complete that section, it's going to take you to other information. So this is just asking if you have a social security card or not. If you do, you'll click on yes, but if you do not, you'll just simply click no, and then you'll read the statement. International students, undocumented students, and other exceptions may not have an SSN card, and could check the box below. So you'll click on that, and you'll move on to the next section. The statewide student ID is optional. You don't have to enter it in. If you know it, you can. If not, it's not a big deal. And then the last question is language proficiency. What do you classify as your first language? It will be English if that applies to you. If not, you can put your first language. And then military status, military dependent questions. And then it's also going to ask you at the next question, academic standing, and then also the academic infractions and code of conduct. You'll check yes to the questions that apply to you. You'll check no to the ones that don't apply to you. And then if you're interested in doing a teaching credential program, you could put yes, or you could put no if you're not interested in the credential program. The CalFresh is basically a program for getting free groceries, and you can click on if you're interested in it, in monthly food assistance. If that applies towards you, you could put yes. If not, you put no. And then the California Promise is basically for first-time freshmen. So it's not going to be geared towards transfer students that are transferring over, other than if you have an associate's degree to transfer and wish to complete your degree in 2 years. So if you are interested, you'll pick yes or no. And then if you are a registered nurse, you can put your license there. If you have one, you'll put yes. And if you don't, you'll put no. And then how did you hear about us? There's a lot of different ways that you can hear about us, word of mouth. Maybe you're at Super Sunday or outreach program within the CSU. You could pick that. and then you'll click on the save and continue. It'll take you to the next portion, which will be the financial and parental information. So for any of these questions, you're just going to simply read through all these statements, and they're just asking you about if you're born before a certain date, or maybe both your parents were not in the picture, or yeah, anything that applies to you. Then if they do, you'll put one or more apply to you. If not, then you'll put none of the statements apply to me. This is basically determining what if you're independent or dependent student. If you are a dependent student, then we're going to need your parents' information and family size and income. But if you apply and if one or more apply to you, then we're going to need your information and tax information, and then also if you have a family, the family size and the household income. And then we do have a section where if you are interested for on-campus housing, you can always apply for it. It's just saying if you're interested for on-campus housing, and then if you have a parent or guardian, we just want to know what the level of their education was. So that pretty much sums up the first quadrant for this presentation. We're going to go ahead and pass it on to my colleague and other host, Nicholas Clements, and he will cover the academic portion and others.
All right, thank you, Brandon. So just want to point out that if you ever want to get back to the main page of your application, all you do is click My Application. And so like Brandon said, I'm going to walk you through the academic history section. So as you can see here, we got, let's see, 6 sections here. So the first being high schools attended. And so this is just where you will add a high school. So I've already added one in, but let's go ahead and let's just delete that real quick. And let's add one in. Let's say you went to a school in Riverside. So you can search Riverside and it'll pop up schools in Riverside, California. And let's see, do I recognize any of these? There we go, John North High School. And you would put the dates that you attended. So I don't know, when did I attend high school? I'm dating myself here. I attended 2007 to 2011. Okay. Term type, most schools operate on a semester system or quarter system. Let's just say it's a semester system here, and you'll hit save. And then it's going to ask you, did you graduate from this high school? And I'm going to go ahead and select yes. It's going to ask you which school, because if you went to multiple high schools, you have to put those in. And the date I got my high school diploma, I put June 2011. Save and continue. All right. And so that's pretty simple. So we move on to academic information. And this is essentially just asking, did you attend a high school or secondary school outside of the United States? If you did, you need to just put your high school GPA and then the name of the degree that you received. But most people will put no, and then save and continue. All right, so this is the section we really want to focus on, is colleges attended. So very similar to adding a high school, you're going to add a college or university. As you can see here, I've already added Crafton, but let's go ahead and add, let's see, San Bernardino Valley. So we can just go ahead and search, and there it is, San Bernardino Valley College. Did you obtain or do you plan on obtaining your associate's degree from this college or university? If you do, you will say yes. If you've already received your degree, you will say degree awarded. Or if it's in progress, you will say it is in progress. Okay. You're going to tell us what type of degree you plan on earning. So if you are just getting an Associates of Arts or Associates of Science, you'll select that option. Just know that if you're getting an associate's degree for transfer, you need to select the Associates of Arts for transfer or Associates of Science for transfer. Okay, these are different than just the Associates of Arts and Associates of Science. For the sake of this presentation, I'm just going to say no, because I do have associate's degree under my Crafton. What type of term system does this college use? Again, most colleges use the semester system. Type of tuition status, if you received in-state tuition, out-of-state tuition, or not applicable. And when did you attend this college? So your first semester could have been last year, last semester could have been the semester after, or you would check this box if you are still attending this college, okay? And then you would just select save. So now I have 2 colleges here. And as you can see, I've got my Associates of Arts for transfer degree under crafting. Make sure that your associates, your major matches the major that you selected. So remember when Brandon was talking about selecting a program, we selected administration. Make sure that you select for your associate's degree, administration, okay? All right, now let's move on to college coursework. And so here is where you'll see your 2 colleges entered. And to edit your online transcript, you're going to go and click edit. Now, as you can see, I've already filled a lot of this out. I just started entering a bunch of different classes. And as you can see, I did pretty well. I got some A's and B's. But to simply enter a course, all you do is add course and you start typing the course code. Okay, so what's a course? Let's see, Chem. Make sure you select the course code from the drop-down list, because if I just type it in, it's not going to auto-populate the rest of this, okay? So let me back up here. I took Chem, let's say 102. Look at that, it auto-populated the course title and the number of units. All you need to do is input the subject. And if you're unsure of the subject, I know some of the courses out there are a little funky. Give it your best guess, but this one's pretty straightforward. It's a chemistry class. And then you would select your grade. Let's say, I did okay, got a C. And then once you're done with this semester, you hit save. We get asked a lot, what if I repeated a class? And so right here, I've already entered that in. In 2020, I took History 100, but I got, I retook it because I got a bad grade, but I ended up retaking it. For the grade, you were going to just put RP for repeat. Okay, so any classes that you've retaken, put RP. And then you're going to put the time you retook it, then you'll put their grade. So here in spring 2021, I retook it and I got a B. So now I want to show you how to put your classes for this semester, fall 2021, and any classes that you'll be taking in the spring. So, sorry, I went a little fast there. You're going to click add a semester to add the fall 2021 semester. Academic status is either freshman or sophomore. The distinction is 0 to 30 units is freshman, 30 to 60 is sophomore. So I'll just say I'm a sophomore. And this is in progress or planned. All of the other semesters are already completed, but your fall and spring semesters will be in progress or planned. Okay, and you're going to hit save. I don't like when it brings you back up. You gotta scroll back down and add a course. So one of the courses I'm missing is math, one of the golden fours here. So let me go ahead, let's put in math 102, college algebra. And as you can see, I can't put a grade yet because I'm taking that class right now. So I just have to go through. Oh, select a subject, that's right. I was like, why isn't it letting me save? It's a math class and let's hit save. Okay, so if you are taking classes next semester for spring, you're going to want to indicate that as well, especially if you're going to be taking a golden 4 or completing your 60 units. All right. So next section, standardized tests. So if you took AP in high school and you took the tests and you have the score of a 3 or better, you can submit those for college credit and you would indicate that here. You would say, I'd like to add a test, and you can add your AP scores here, CLEP scores, IB scores, okay? If you're not adding any, just say, I'm not adding any standardized tests. Lastly is the general education section, the golden 4, and this is super important. So the application is pretty smart. It should automatically fill in your golden 4. But if you, and it's only going to work if you attended a California community college. If you attended a school out of state or private school, it won't auto-populate. So as you can see here, it auto-populated communication, oral communication, written communication, and critical thinking. Well, it didn't really auto-populate the correct math class, okay? So what you're going to want to do is, this is all of the classes that you've entered on your electronic transcript, and you want to find the class that associates with the B4 requirement, the math requirement. So that's Math 102 for me. So if any of these look a little, funky, make sure you click the drop down and select the right course that is applicable, and then save and continue. All right. So that is the academic history section. Now let's move on to the associate's degree for transfer. So any of you that are getting your associate's degree for transfer, we just need additional information. So we're going to, these sections will auto-populate because we've already entered that in. We've said that I'm getting my associates from Crafton in business administration. We just need your community college ID number. Oh, campus student ID number, California Community College ID number, and your anticipated or completed degree date. So I think I indicated that I am getting mine in May of 2022. And then you'll save and continue. Obviously, I don't have that information. Okay, if you're unsure about these numbers, I recommend talking to a counselor at your community college, and they can help you locate them. All right. So now I am going to pass it off to my colleague, Iveth Diaz.
Thank you, Nick. So today I will be going over this next section, which is the Education Opportunity Program. So EOP is a great program that we have in the state of California. We have a similar program in all of our 23 campuses, and I greatly advise for you and encourage you to apply to our program. So one of the key things to note is that we are an admission/income-based program, which means that we do have income criteria that I'm going to go ahead and include in the chat. That way you can take a look at it, see if you are eligible. And if so, I encourage you to complete this section of the application because, again, admission-based program, meaning that we only accept applications by the time that you are applying to our campus. And so this is the same for all of the other 23 campuses. If you are applying to multiple campuses through this application platform, then the information that you include on this section is going to be sent off to all of the other campuses and their respective EOP offices. Okay, so that's important to know. Our priority of filing application period is December 15th. We also have additional deadlines, and those deadlines may differ from campus to campus. So please always ensure to reach out to the EOP department for each campus that you apply to. All right, so this is where the EOP application lies. We don't require anything additional other than the information that is included onto this section. Okay, so that's very important for to know when completing this section of the application. So one of the first question is, are you enrolled in EOP&S at the community college? They are our sister program at the community college level. However, it's important to note that although we do consider that as part of the application, being part of EOP&S does not guarantee that you are automatically enrolled and accepted onto EOP at the CSU level, okay? So we have to make sure that we do apply, that we complete all of our application by the set deadlines, and that we follow up with any additional requirements as need be. Okay, so in each of these sections, once you go ahead and click yes that you're interested in applying, then the rest of the follow-up questions are automatically popped up. Okay, if you can go ahead and scroll down for me, Nick. Thank you. Okay, so we do take into consideration if you have been part of any educational programs such as like Talent Search, the Puente Project, MESA Project. Most importantly, if you have been or are a current foster youth, then please let us know. Part of EOP a program that we have within our EOP office is a Renaissance Scholars Program that is tailored for current and former foster youth, and we have additional resources for you. So the important thing is that we have a complete EOP application for you. If you do outline yourself as a current or former foster youth, then we provide you with the additional supplemental application for a Renaissance Scholars Program. But it's essential that we have a complete EOP app first, okay? So this is the place where you outline if that's something that you may fall under. That way we can ensure that we provide you with additional services as need be. Can you scroll down for me, please, Nick? All right, so we do serve primarily first generation college students. So this is the reason as to why we ask if you have any brothers or sisters attending college. We additionally ask later on in the application if your parents have attended college. So for all intents and purposes, we utilize the definition of a first generation college student as being the first one, obviously, in the family to attend college, but this does not include siblings. So if your siblings do attend college, including four-year university, and they do graduate, if a parent or guardian has not graduated from a four-year university in the United States, then you would still be considered a first-generation college student for our EOP program. As mentioned, we are an income-based program, so we look into any public assistance programs, reduced school lunch programs, as well as if you contribute to your household. And we take all of that into consideration. Go ahead, Nick. You can go over to the next section. All right, so this is our parent guardian information and financial status. So once you go ahead and click yes onto that question, then additional questions popped up. I know that this workshop is tailored for our transfer students, meaning that many of you may declare yourself as independent, right, for tax purposes. Just know that the parent and guardian information is still required. However, this can be, when it comes to the estimated income, it could be an approximate, okay? We would not determine your eligibility based on the parent or guardian information. However, it's just something that for reporting purposes, we ask for that information. If you declare yourself as an independent, as you scroll down, you click yes on that option, and then it prompts the questions that pertain to you and your income. So if you are married, it would be income for both yourself and your spouse. It all depends on how you file your taxes. Go ahead and scroll up for me. Awesome. Okay, so next up is our EOP biographical questions. We really do pay attention to this section in particularly because we ask questions pertaining to your educational achievement, extracurricular activities. So can you go ahead and click yes for me, please? Awesome. So we ask about families' financial challenges as well. Note that we look into the history of financial challenges within the household because, again, we want to make sure that we provide those services for you, right? We ask about your academic background. So we really do want to take a more holistic approach when evaluating applications here and in determining whether or not you would be a good fit for our program, which is why we ask these questions, right? We want to look beyond what the transcript can provide for us. So let's say, for instance, you did struggle a term or two, especially, you know, with everything going on in society now. If that has negatively impacted your academics, so your grades, then please let us know, right? What was going on during that term or those two terms where your grades might have dipped. We understand that life happens, you know, so we want to make sure to take everything into consideration when determining our admission decision into our program. All right, so the final thing to take into consideration here is our EOP recommendations. We require at least 2. They have to be from either a counselor or a teacher that can attest to your academic capabilities. And if you are having difficulty and sometimes getting a hold of teachers or counselors, especially for maybe our transfer students that have been out of school for quite some time, then you can receive a personal reference, which can be a current or former employer, anywhere where you may have done community service, for example. That would also be an acceptable recommender. So as previously mentioned, all of our requirements are within this application, meaning that including the letters of recommendation need to be completed within this platform. Can you go ahead and click on the EOP recommendation request for me, please? Awesome. So as a student, you would only be required to enter your recommender's first name, last name, and email address. Once you enter that information, then your recommender is going to receive an email on their end. They have to create an account if they don't have one, which is not very difficult to do. It's like a two-step process. Then they go ahead and answer the prompts that are provided. Once those questions are answered, they click submit, and then your letters of recommendation are automatically attached to your application. Okay, so this means that I should not be receiving any mail letters or any emails with letters of recommendation on letterhead. Everything should be within this platform. If, however, you do encounter any difficulties, in utilizing CSU Apply, or especially the EOP application in here, please let me know, and hopefully we can troubleshoot with you, as we still have time to submit the application. But please don't wait until December 15. If you can submit your application today, that would be fantastic, or maybe by the end of the week, if possible. And that would be all for our EOP application section. I'm going to go ahead and include our contact information onto the chat should you have any additional questions. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Yvette. And I forgot to mention, all of that is in quadrant 3 and supporting information. Okay, so lastly, we have one more quadrant, and this is where I'm going to go ahead and switch over to a presentation. But for non-impacted majors, it's pretty much just telling you thank you for applying to Cal State San Bernardino, your program details. So you're going for an undergraduate degree, the deadline for the application December 15th, administration, academic year. Pretty straightforward. So this, for non-impacted majors, is probably already going to be filled out for you. Let's see, stop share. For non-impacted majors, let me go ahead and show you what that looks like. Sorry, for impacted majors, let me show you what that looks like. Oops. Brandon, can you see that? Yeah. Okay. So
Yeah.
quadrant 4 has additional information for impacted majors. So transfer students for pre-nursing and kinesiology and just the allied health concentration, you have additional questions, additional steps that you do need to take to complete quadrant 4, okay? For the other 3 impacted majors, criminal justice, psychology, and social work, you do have additional questions to review, simply asking, you know, if you meet the minimum GPA requirement and some additional understandings that you need to fill out. But for the kinesiology, allied health concentration major, and the pre-nursing major, excuse me, you do have to upload an unofficial transcript. Okay, this helps us ensure that you do meet the prerequisite requirements. So make sure you read the upload tips carefully, because we only accept certain types of documents. So Word documents, PDFs, JPEGs, PNGs, okay? And you would just simply click the add document button and upload your unofficial transcript. Then you need to match. So you remember the general education section back in academic history where I was matching my Golden 4 courses? You're very similar in this section here. You need to match your prerequisite courses from your courses that you entered on the electronic transcript. Okay, so this one is for nursing. A nursing student is matching their prerequisite courses. And then once you have done everything in the application, it should look like this. All right, everything will be green. And you'll go to the Submit Application tab, where you will see, so this student was applying for Bakersfield and Cal Poly Pomona. They're all ready. These are both green as well. You're all ready to submit. To check your fee waiver status, you'll simply click on the button that says check my fee waiver status. And if you qualify for the fee waiver, this screen will pop up and it will tell you you are applicable for 4 application fee waivers, meaning you can apply up to 4 California state universities. Any more than that, you will have to pay out of pocket. And as you could see from the last screen here, each school is $70 per application. All right, so once that is all done, you can sit back, you can relax. I tell students all the time, within 2 weeks, you should receive an email from us with your Coyote ID number and instructions on how to set up your My Coyote account. And that is where we are going to send all of the important information to your Coyote email address, okay? And here's our contact info. We're looking good here. There's the rest of our team. So now I'm gonna go ahead, stop sharing, and open it up to questions.
Again, please provide your questions in the Q&A chat function, and we'll be sure to answer those questions for you. And yeah, we don't want y'all to be shy. There's probably a question that somebody may have, and you put it in there, and it could help everybody out. So please.
I think we did such a great job, Brandon and
So,
Iveth.
so Nick, I do have a question for you. You know, some students are probably wondering, what are the impacted majors at CSUSB? I'm a transfer student, and I'm not really sure what the impacted majors are. Could you provide me with that information, perhaps?
Yeah, so we do have 5 impacted majors: psychology, criminal justice, social work, kinesiology, allied health, and nursing. And so they do have additional admissions requirements. So you're definitely going to want to check out the chat there, because I did see Brandon posted the impaction guidelines or criteria for those majors. I did mention that nursing and kinesiology, they do have prerequisites that you do need to match in the application in quadrant 4, along with, the higher GPA requirements.
Awesome. We do have a question. I'm currently attending La Sierra, but I'm struggling and my GPA is low. Will I have to have a chance to get into university? My major is social work. So for that major, you definitely will have to meet the impaction criteria for that major. If there are if you do have trying to get your GPA up, or you have questions about classes, feel free to make an appointment with any of our admissions counselors, and we'll be sure to assist you and guide you with the necessary steps to get your GPA up and potentially get you into Cal State San Bernardino.
If someone could put the outreach website in the chat, that'd be awesome.
This webinar, to answer your question, Brianna, you could definitely refer back to it. We will be putting this webinar on our outreach website. I would say give it about 24 to 48 hours for it to get posted onto the website, but it will definitely be on there, and we'll actually show you how to get there. Give me one moment so I can pull it up for y'all.
And it is in the chat. So go ahead and check it out there. Thank you, everybody, for putting it in the chat for us.
I'm going to share my screen real quick. Nick, please let me know if you can see this wonderful screen.
I sure can.
All right, so here you're going to go to future Yodis and you're going to scroll all the way down. And it says if you miss a session, these are the other highlight sessions and also calculated apply application workshops that we have in the past. So you can always refer to this. So please refer to that when you get a moment. And it's simply on our outreach and student recruitment page, and you'll simply go to future Yodis.
Thank you, Brandon. We did have a question about pre-nursing requirements, prerequisites that are planned for the spring. Thank you, Chris, for answering that question for us. But I just want to address everybody that all of your prerequisites for impacted majors do need to be completed by the end of spring 2022, as well as your Golden 4 courses. They also need to be completed by the end of spring 2022. Okay, so you can't take it in the summer of 2022. Your math, your English, your public speaking, or your critical thinking, they have to be done in the spring.
Any other questions? I do see one question that Lucia is answering, but I could go ahead and answer it live. What are some majors and programs I should be applying for to become a teacher? So there are many majors. You could go for the actual major. So say if you wanted to teach math, you could major in math and do a single subject or multiple subject. If you wanted to teach like elementary or middle school, I would recommend that you do liberal studies, and then you do the multiple subject. All the programs and degree information could be found in the chat where I was just provided in the chat with you. Thank you, Lucia, for that. And it'll give you a breakdown of everything that you need to know. Also, Brenda also included a link for the College of Education. So if you did want to find out what kind of topic or major you want to go into, just check it out. And again, we do have this major that's provided not only at the main campus in San Bernardino, but also the Palm Desert campus.
And I want to go ahead and add on a little bit more, just because I know a little more about the credential programs. Once you are here at CSUSB, the College of Education actually has information sessions where they talk about the admissions requirements into these programs. So I highly encourage you to attend one of those sessions. The earlier, the better, so that you can get informed, start working toward those requirements, because they are quite a bit of requirements in there. So what I did is I added the link to the College of Education page, but if you go on there, you will, let me go ahead and share my screen so you can take a look at it, start browsing. Our websites are great resources for any major. So I'll go ahead and highlight College of Ed. So College of Ed, if you go on here onto prospective students, you will be able to see the information sessions, which are listed down here. So pick a date that best fits your schedule. If you want to learn more about the programs, you can click on our programs and see what teaching credentials, master's, undergraduate programs, certificate programs the College of Education has to offer. So there's a lot of great resources on here, but definitely attend one of those information sessions so you can learn more about what specific major you should be declaring if you want to teach a specific subject.
Thank you, Brenda. We really appreciate that information. Students, if you do have any additional questions, please feel free to ask. We want to make sure that we utilize and maximize this time to answer your questions, things that you may be confused about, or if you have specific questions about majors or even EOP, we want you to ask them into the Q&A chat. We want to be sure to answer those questions for you. Nick, I think we did a good job.
I think so too. I don't think there are any more questions.
Mind blown.
All right, well, if there are no more questions, I mean, we'll give it another minute here, but thank you all for joining us. We really appreciate it. I hope this was helpful. Get your applications in, and
Yes.
we can't wait to see you in the fall.
Go Yodis.
Go Yotes! Oh,
We got two. Okay.
oh wait, we
Oh.
got a question here. We got thank you, Brianna.
For your center profile, I have an AA in graphic design. Would I check mark the second option for transferring with an associate's degree? As if it's an associate's degree to transfer, then you would do that. If it's not, then you would just say that you have 60 or more units, if that's the case.
Mhm. If you're unsure of if it's an associate's degree for transfer, you can always contact one of us or contact a counselor at the community college that you attend.
Great question.
I know that gets a little confusing sometimes.
Any other questions? Going once, going twice. All right, y'all. Well, it's been a pleasure, myself and Nick, and also thank you, team, for being here and helping out. On the behalf of California State University San Bernardino, the Office of Outreach and Student Recruitment, we just want to say thank you for attending today. If you do have any questions, make appointments with us, call us, and email us. We're here to help you all. Thank you and have a great day. Go Yotes.
Bye, everyone.